Oh, I should tell Amanda to try Facebook.
What is? Okay, I think we are live.
Awesome.
Okay, ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. Well, welcome to PatsCast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt,
I'm Chris.
and we are a proud member of the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. This is our episode for November 3rd, 2019. Okay, everyone, today we are live on the Twitter. We are live on the Twitter. We are live on the YouTube, and I think we are live on the Facebook as well. Something new we're trying here, a little changing things up a little bit. We this actually stems from our partnership a little bit with the Saskatchewan Podcast Network, and they sent us a document, or I guess being part of it. And I was reading, streaming is a major, big portion of broadcasting and podcasts, and particularly YouTube. So here we are trying this out. It does have a live interactive segment portion of this too. We should be able to see all messages coming in, and they should show up there on the bottom of the screen.
If you're watching.
If you're watching. I guess that leads us to, we hope to be more consistent on this, because if you can kind of predict when we're going to be doing this, hopefully we can get some interaction. And we were talking about that today. It seems like Sunday evenings are the best for both of us. It seems to make sense. We've always liked Sundays to record, because it kind of finishes off this week, and it gives a few days to get the episode out and get information out leading up into typically a week that starts on Friday. We get the odd earlier games, but yeah, so it's something new we're testing out. I'd like to hear your feedback on that, and yeah, it's a little bit more fun. We have to be a little bit more on the spot and no editing, because it's live out there. So
Yeah, we've been going no editing for quite a while now. I know when we first started, we were terrible, and we were spending way too much time editing it and trying to sound better. But
yeah, I would cut out all the ums and ahs, but I don't do that anymore. So you're getting all the ums and ahs and so's and buts.
Yeah, I gotta cut down on those.
It's
so's.
funny. We re-listen back lots of times and go, "Oh man, we all have our crutch words, right?" And
yeah, even doing the interviews with the players, even the coach too sometimes.
Absolutely.
Do it. I mean, it's just natural.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, yeah, we're getting better, and I think
so. And this just feels like the next step. It's kind of the natural, seems to be the way podcasting and this stuff's going, is to have that streaming portion of it. So let's get into tonight, though. We have two games to talk about. Fortunately, two losses, but you didn't get to see the PA game. You had lots going on this weekend, but I did get to see it. Both games, I think, had pretty good efforts. Let's start with the PA game, though, on Friday, a 6-3 loss. As I was saying to you, it was not a bad game really up until the third period. There was a portion of the second period where we really carried the play. I was really impressed. Max Paddock had a great game. It was just, again, I mean, it's the same narrative of this season. It seems like the third period things fall apart, and we either get into penalty trouble or whatever happens, and we just run out of energy. And we're getting some comments from Moncton. Thanks, buddy. Well, the cliches, pucks in deep, 4 lines early. You know, we all say that, but really, this game against PA, a very good team, held our own for a while, but it just seemed like once the floodgates opened, they were rolling there.
Yeah, it looks. I just looking at the score sheet there. They scored a couple power play goals in the third period. PA did.
Yeah,
and it kind of went downhill from there, right? Like they scored the goal late in the second period to take a 2-1 lead, and like you said, they seem to have quite a bit of pressure and some good play. And yeah, it's kind of going back to earlier in the season where they were only getting 30, 40, 45 minutes of good play.
Yeah.
And the good teams, that's the thing though. The good teams play 60 minutes and they will capitalize at the end of the game, right?
Yeah, yeah. Some positives from it though. Dranglot got his first goal, and actually that really kind of perked up the team. I found. I noticed some really nice passing out of the to exit our zone. Just some really nice. I don't know if they were orchestrated or if they just happened, but just some nice crisp passing. And this game in tonight as well, Riker Evans really standing out. I found I think he got a star even
He got
tonight.
first star tonight.
First star, yeah. He seems to be playing really well. Again, Paddock had a great Setoff almost had another goal, so he seems to be stepping up into the play.
Yeah,
a
you
little
get
bit
that
more.
one, and that gives you some confidence.
Yeah.
I asked Austin Pratt about that, so you'll hear a little bit about that in the post game, the Red Deer. But get back to PA here.
Yeah, Nyhoff got 2. He was actually on a 5-game point streak going into Sunday's game,
Okay.
so I don't think he got one tonight. But
no, I don't think so.
good for him. So, it's kind of some of the other guys starting to step up with some of that secondary scoring, I guess you can call it. We seem to be relying a lot on Austin Pratt for a lot of it lately, and it's other guys getting some goals, which is awesome.
Yeah, and you've seen that a little bit in the Calgary outdoor game, right? Scoring 5 goals in that game, so I'm hoping that would carry over.
Yeah,
A little lower scoring games this week, but maybe that's what they were looking for in this trade that they made this week, moving Duncan Pierce out for Caden Daly.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about that. Kind of an odd trade. It's a straight up trade, player for player, both the same age, very similar statistics. I don't know.
I don't know if it was just the sake of a trade for sake of a trade. Both teams are kind of struggling a bit,
Yeah.
and obviously to different degrees, but just trying to switch
Change
it
things up. Yeah.
Not change the culture, but maybe just give a boost or say, hey, if you guys aren't playing well, not that Duncan Pierce wasn't playing well, but
Yeah.
just try to kickstart this team a little bit, right? And you can't say they're not trying to do stuff either. They're not just standing pat. I mean, it sounds like Daly may have been a healthy scratch the last couple games, so maybe Brandon was looking to move on from him. So, hey, might as well give it a shot, right?
I guess I liked Pierce. He was I quite like. He was one of my favorite players actually. So sad to see him go. He had some skill, but I guess he didn't really translate a lot to the score sheet this year.
And Caden Daly's coming in as a first round pick, so obviously there was some potential there, but he obviously hasn't panned out in his career in the WHL.
And that's what we were thinking. Well, maybe Strush and Paddock think, because he was a first round draft pick. He's played some international hockey with Team Canada as U17, so he had the skill. He was an elite player at one point. He's just not living up to those same expectations now. Maybe they think they can get some. Yeah.
I mean, he looked pretty good out there. He was all over. He's not afraid to be physical, so that's nice to see.
Speaking of new players too, Zach Smith really seemed to find a footing here already. So it wasn't a direct trade, but it seemed like it was the moving Allen freed up the space for Zach Smith. And I was looking, Allen had I think it was a total of 3 points in 38 games with us. And so here we are. How many does Zach have now?
He's got 2, I believe. A goal tonight and an assist in the outdoor game.
So he's already getting close to Blake Allen's points.
And the fact that he wasn't signed, I don't know. I don't recall him being on the protected list that I can think of. But, maybe somebody will comment or let us know if he was protected at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's obviously on the list now, but that he signed. But I mean, it seems like it's working out so far.
Yeah. He was the post-game interview. I don't know if you got a chance to hear it.
I didn't hear it. No.
It was good. He spoke well about this game. They played well. They felt actually they should have won this Red Deer game. And I guess we can talk a little about that now that we're alluding into it. But so Red Deer, today, Sunday afternoon, 3-2 overtime loss. I thought it was a well-played game. Again, Zach Smith with his first WHL goal. Phil Nyhoff had a good game. He didn't get any points, so his point streak comes to an end. But there's that one. It looked like, we think it was the same series. He had the hit of the night, and then that led into him drawing a penalty against him, just from being his sort of agitator self. And I like the maturity that he's not getting penalties at the same time.
Yeah.
So he's able to, that fine line of being a pest,
yeah,
right?
Toe that line,
yeah,
where he can draw but not take.
Yeah, yeah. Because I think two guys kind of went at him in front of the net there. I'm not sure which got the penalty, but he drew the attention of two guys.
Yeah, and like you see a couple of the video or maybe a couple of pictures in the outdoor game where he's always smiling. He gets out of the net and he's just got a huge grin on his face, right? So
yeah,
he's obviously, and like we talked about last year, he was getting under the guy's skin as well. So you got to have that a little bit, right? You draw those penalties, and the team has been drawing penalties this past October, I guess, not the month, but we were averaging over 5 power plays a game, which is one of 2 teams in October.
Right.
So that's an interesting stat.
And we talked about it last week too. The look of the new power play here with more 3 on the kind of 3 blue liners and 2 down deep. It's starting to look better. They're getting some nice movement and some nice looks. They're just not getting the goals here right now, which is too bad. But I think it's gonna come. I think they'll start finding that finishing touch, because today they had some really nice zone time and control on those power plays. It's a little bit different too. It's not as much of that dump and chase. I've been noticing they get the passes and then the carry across the blue line, which is different. A lot of people don't like the dump and chase.
Yeah, especially on the power play, you want to be able to control it, right? You don't want to take that chance to give it away.
I think so. I'm not an expert, but I've noticed that, and I like it a bit better. Overall, I thought it was a decent game. I like the fight. The team bailed out Paddock after that kind of a little bit of a soft one there with about 90 seconds left, and then we score with 40. Very similar to the last game we played against Red Deer in that sense.
Yeah, late goal to tie it up.
Yeah, and to get a point out of it, it's not bad. I guess we have three games now out of 4 that we've got points. Our last 4.
Yeah,
that's turning a corner.
Hopefully, it's a start, right?
Yeah, start getting some points. We didn't really get any of the loser points last year.
No,
very few of them.
Yeah,
so that's nice to at least hold games closer and to come back after a tough goal like that. I like that. I
totally was gonna ask Pratt about that coming back late, but I totally forgot.
Yeah, it was a different day with the post game skate.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
The post game usual scrum wasn't going on today, so it was just kind of one-on-one interviews, and I'm not haven't quite got that down to a science yet, but
that's
still
good.
learning.
But you did get some interviews here.
I do have a little bit of Austin Pratt I cut up here and for the show, and then I don't know if you want to go right into Strush on the PA game as well.
Sure. Let's play both.
We'll do Pratt from tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game. Both teams had good chances, good zone time, so it was a back and forth game, and then it's just came up a little short tonight.
Still taking away like positives from the game.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of positives to take away from today. We battled hard. Everyone played hard, played their best, and it's just one of those games where it didn't go your way, and it could have easily gone our way with a few crossbars, but same with them. Yeah. I mean, they had good chances that could have went in too, so it was just one of those games.
Are you guys gripping the sticks maybe a little bit too much? Just trying to find that extra goal. It's maybe not coming for you guys lately.
Maybe some guys are. I mean, it's tough. Some of the guys that are looking for that first one. It's tough. It's hard not to start off the season with a goal. So some people may, but that just makes it worse.
Yeah, I think you kind of captured what we said. It was a close game. It could have gone either way. And then once you get into overtime, really, it's who knows. We had a really pretty good chance there, and then that overtime goal was. It was kind of a messy. It was kind of a weird one. I think we gave them a bit too long of a leash, and then got crossed over, and then
they made a kind of a nice play behind the net there to cross, and it
kind of got Max going the wrong way, and
and it, then it's like, when you do that crossing, the defense, the defending players are like, oh, do you switch or you stick with your guy, and it's behind the net, so it was really tight, and they just made a good play and had a nice goal.
Yeah. 3-on-3, who knows?
It's just a crapshoot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever happens. But one thing we did mention was Nyhoff, and I think it was Whitnick, on the play to save the game, per se.
Right, yeah.
The back check after we cuffed up the puck in the red deer zone with the net empty, and Nyhoff and I think it was Whitnick came back and really back checked hard, got the puck off their stick, and turned around and then gave us the chance to tie it up.
Absolutely. It was basically a 2-on-2 with an empty net.
Yeah.
And they back checked hard to make sure he didn't get a shot off or a pass even to that other man. And really, that was saved the game in that sense. And then we came down and subsequently scored.
Yeah. It was just an ugly goal, just like the other one in Red Deer. But hey, we need those goals, right?
Yeah, but to show that fight and to not give up and then get the goal,
and get to overtime. That's nice to see.
Yeah. Okay, so you got Struch's post game after
PA, just off the radio.
Okay.
Here.
I thought it was two of our best periods of the year, and we really pushed a good team. They showed why they're one of the top teams in the league in the third period, scoring 5. One empty netter, but they all count. I think that our guys played real good. We were exposed a little bit with our defense in the third period and their speed. So we're going to give them some credit, but lots of real good things to take away from today's game.
I thought Max played real well. I mean, he gave you a chance tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he was really good. I think overall everybody was. I mean, you look at right up and down the lineup. Drew Englot, Smith was really good. Those two guys were probably our two best players, and that's saying a lot because we had a lot of good guys up front there. Again, there was lots of things that we did really well. We had lots of good opportunities early to get 3 or 4 other ones, and that's just it's where we're at. It's where we're at as far as our offense. It's going to take a lot for us to score a whole bunch of goals. And when we get good goaltending like that, we needed to bury a little more.
What did you think of Caden Daly in his first game?
I liked it. He gets good opportunities because of his speed. He's a big part of our offense with that line with Massier and Nighthawk. Those are things that we expect him to do, and hopefully he can put some goals in the net.
Well, you talk about secondary offense. How good is to see Logan playing like he is? I mean, now points in 5 straight. I mean, that's huge for you, isn't it?
It is. It's a big part of it. That's stuff that we're looking for. But again, that line in itself could have had 3 or 4 other ones. And that's, again, you look at what we've talked about all year, the way we've played and our record to be the way it is unfortunate. But if we weren't getting all of these chances, it would be a lot worse. And if our systems, if we weren't executing that way, it makes it a lot more difficult. So when our guys play as well as they did, there's lots to take away, and we can use it to build on for Sunday.
Good, yeah, that kind of echoes what I was saying too, secondary scoring. I like that he calls him Nighthawk. Logan Nyhoff's nickname is Nighthawk. But anyway, anything else you want to say about those games?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. This game was winnable. It's tough to not come away with a win. I thought. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, it would have been nice to pull one out against Red Deer. I think those are the teams we need to beat. We need to beat the Swifts when we play them. I don't know who else is from our division. It's maybe the Brandons, if you can get splits with Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon's not doing too well, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
actually, there's one other thing. Smith getting some power play time already tonight. That's,
He did.
That's
Yeah.
nice to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, they think highly of him. Obviously,
Yeah.
since they're bringing him in. But that's and rewards them with a goal already. So maybe that's a nice little bright spot
Mm-hmm.
to look forward to here.
Okay, before we move on, we'll get our trivia question out. Now, this has to do with you were somewhere watching a hockey game around Regina, and you mentioned an interesting fact that they play on a Olympic-sized rink. So it got me thinking, where in Saskatchewan has Olympic-sized hockey? Now, I'm not going to claim this to be an exhaustive list, so that's the trivia for today. Where in Saskatchewan is an Olympic-sized hockey rink? So while you're thinking of that, the Saskatchewan Podcast Network is supported by Connexus. Does money spark joy in your life or cause you stress? If you said stress, you're not alone. For 42% of Canadians, the biggest stressor comes from money. At Connexus, they care about your financial well-being. Money doesn't have to be stressful, and Connexus is here to help. The Connexus #MoneyTalk blog provides expert advice, tips, and solutions for all of life's stages and events. Check it out today at connexusmoneytalk.ca and start feeling confident and stress-free about your money.
So just before you continue, so we got that podcast kind of survey.
Yeah.
And the one stat I seen, it was like, oh, people preferred it if you had fun with the ad reads. Like, it seemed like ad reads were generally accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't really planning to do any, but since we were prompted, we're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, we'll look into this.
Yeah, I don't mind.
And so the percentage of people who enjoyed when the hosts have fun with the ad reads was generally more. So,
Well,
yeah.
I'd like to take... I listen to Bill Burr's podcast. I don't know if you do.
No, I don't.
His ad reads are epic.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
You actually want to listen to them?
They're like part of they're a segment of the show, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have to spruce them up. I mean,
Yeah,
we
and
have
I
a
don't
little bit,
mind.
yeah.
Right now, it's Connexus, it's local, it's
Yeah.
it's not a. So we'll see where that goes. But
Mhm.
anyway, the trivia about Olympic-sized hockey rinks. So you can just give a little info.
Yeah, so I was in Wilcox. Actually, if you're following the Twitter, I was there tweeting out some pictures, watching some Elite 15 action this weekend. There's it was regular season action, but there's a few teams in town, and my nephew plays for OHA Edmonton, so went and watched him play this weekend, and yeah.
So an Olympic-style rink is 100 feet wide by 200 feet long.
Yeah.
So it's not any longer, because an NHL rink's now standard is 85 by 200.
Yeah.
So when I watch it on TV, I always thought it was long. It looked it's just
Yeah.
wider, right?
Yeah, it's just wider, yeah.
Yeah. And so in Saskatchewan, there's Wilcox, obviously, as you just mentioned. The new university has
in
one.
Saskatoon?
Yeah, in Saskatoon has
So
one.
They
They have
have
double. I don't think the Huskies play on it, but they have one there.
Yeah, because they have 2 rinks
Yeah,
there in the
yeah.
new facility.
And then Davidson claims they have an Olympic-sized rink. I looked into it a little bit more. It's a 90 by 200.
Oh, okay.
So really, if you're thinking about it, 90 is closer to 85 than it is 100.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
So they said an Olympic-size arena. I don't know what that means. So Davidson, you're
Arena, not
Yeah.
ice.
yeah. I don't know. They're trying to pull a quick one here. So, and I don't know if there's any others. If anybody knows, let me know, because that was my Google search. Didn't go too deep.
Yeah.
There was a list of every rink in Saskatchewan, but you'd have to click on each one.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't about to do
Yeah.
that. So
It's too many.
there was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I was asking my sister about what my nephew thought of the big ice, and he's like, yeah, it's not bad. But apparently their home rink in Edmonton is actually smaller than 200 by 85.
Really?
Yeah. So she didn't specify.
So that's kind of
But
interesting too. And I was
It's
reading
an
about
old
this.
building, and
Yeah.
so I'm
So there
not
were some NHL rinks that were grandfathered in. So first of all, I looked, why is it smaller?
Yeah.
Strictly for seating.
Oh, okay.
That was the only reason they did it.
So North America just decided,
They want to fit more people in,
Yeah.
right? It's all about
Yeah.
the money. So some rinks were grandfathered in, particularly the Boston.
Yes, yeah.
The Old Garden was 83 by 191.
Okay, yeah, I knew that one was smaller.
Chicago was
Stadium.
185 by 85. So they were shorter. Same width, but short.
Yeah,
and
185,
Buffalo-
That's 20 feet short.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be noticeable,
yeah.
right?
Well, especially remember. So I don't know when I can't remember what year it was, but they changed the zones.
yeah.
Like they really when they took out the red line, I think the 2-line pass. I think they really tightened up that neutral zone,
Mm-hmm.
and the offensive / defensive zone are much bigger now. Now imagine that the old smaller zones plus being 10 feet short.
Yeah.
Man, the Chicago Stadium, that must have been tiny. The zone.
It would have been a tight rink, yeah.
Yeah.
And Buffalo's was 196 by 85. So not much
Okay.
off.
Yeah. 4 feet.
But now they say all those have been replaced and they're all at that 100 by
Yeah.
200 by 85. So yeah, kind of interesting. I really didn't know Wilcox had one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. I guess if you don't go there, you just.
I played in Wilcox once when I played hockey, but it was not at. It was in the old barn, I think.
Okay.
And the Zamboni was like one you must have had to pull it or push it. Like it wasn't a motorized one.
Oh.
It was old school. And I'm not that old either.
Well, I remember going to tournaments when I was young, and there was no Zamboni. The parents shoveled the ice.
Just shoveled, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember where it was. I'd have to ask, but I don't know where it was. But I remember we went up. We had to walk up these steep stairs, wooden stairs, because the dressing rooms were upstairs, and they were just divided by literally like sheets, like in the the hospital, you got a shared room, and you pull the sheet, and that was our dressing rooms, and we're like, I don't know how old I was, pretty small, and we're walking down these steep steps to go down to the ice, on your skates, right? So
Yeah.
we're 6, 7 or whatever it is, so sure kids fucking fell down these stairs.
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean, that was back in the day. That would never happen now, right? Whatever, you fell downstairs, you just get up, shake cobwebs out, and go and play. You got your gear on, so
Yeah. Right on. So hopefully people kind of like that information. Going forward, let's talk a little bit about that article that you tweeted from Dub Network, Guy Flaming's article. Do you want to just give us a little?
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting article. How they're trying to, get some more foothold into the U.S. market here, and obviously the Pats they've been to some degree of success. They've been drafting some of these guys. Some of them haven't come, some have come, but as a league as a whole, they've held prospect camps in Anaheim and Dallas. So, they're trying to get the word out, what the league's about. Try to break into that NCAA only mindset.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's always sorts of kind of showcase tournaments here in Canada. You get those bantam tournaments, like he mentions, the John Reed, stuff like that, where you get a couple American teams coming up because, it's all the scouts are coming to watch this tournament. So they want to do, and if you read it, I'll just kind of paraphrase it. They want to set up a couple more of those tournaments in the States where they have American and Canadian teams, but kind of focus on the American teams, and then implement an American draft, just a 2-round draft. Now the Q does have an American draft. I'm not too sure how many rounds it is, but I think it's more for, like he says, optics. Okay, you're a 9th round pick of the Regina Pats, and
yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, just the way it presents itself. So rather than teams taking
a flyer,
a late round flyer that maybe they'll come. Now, really, it's almost the same thing, but now it's you're the first overall pick for the U.S. draft.
2 flyers are going to be in the American draft instead of wasting them. I mean, you can still take some more flyers if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, but you don't. You're almost like they're just giving you 2 American flyers. Flyer pick type, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then, the optics. Oh, I'm a 1st round pick of the Regina Pats instead of a 9th round pick,
right? Which may or may not pan out, as we saw with our buddy Daniel Gushin down there, and
yeah, And even Tice Lemanek.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a third. We spent a third on him.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still holding out hope, but
Yeah, and he went further on to say, even could it lead to divisions and
yeah, that's kind
conference
of that's
changes
kind of
and-
more his kind of just throwing a dart out there. Like, do they kind of start moving more into the States, moving more south on the coast, stuff like that, or even back to like say like Billings or here in North Dakota, Montana, where there used to be teams in the WHL.
right.
So that's kind of more his idea, whereas the draft and these tournaments are happening for sure. So
Yeah, because if you start thinking about, well, what does the States have that's comparable to the CHL, and it's really the USHL.
yeah,
That's
tier 1
that's that
comparable.
age, right? Because then you can get into NCAA, but there's that weird couple year
Yeah,
difference. And I was
they-
looking, USHL really
it's
is
all
east, like northeast.
Yeah, northeast.
Yeah, it goes into Nebraska, and the closest to the WHL would be Fargo, North Dakota,
Okay. Yeah.
which I looked up. I thought, well, maybe it'd be good to go check that out. And it's 800.
Yeah.
It's over 800 kilometers. So
I mean, that's probably why we have a little better success rate with Americans compared to the OHL and the Q,
yeah,
where like the Q is got a pretty small land area to cover, but obviously it's more by population than land, obviously.
yeah,
But that northeast is really, really tough to draw from because the NCAA is so ingrained there.
And the thing that's unique about the USHL is they still maintain their ability to go to the NCAA.
Yeah, right. And I
after.
mean, what's any different than the USHL and the CHL other than we're giving a stipend of what, like a couple $100 every couple weeks?
Right. I guess
Right.
that's enough that you're not an amateur athlete.
I know,
anymore.
and the NCAA. I mean, that this goes down a long, deep rabbit hole. But I mean, like, the NCAA is. Yeah, don't even get me started on them in their quote unquote amateurism.
Right.
Like, they're profiting so heavily off these kids: football, basketball, hockey, you
Mhm.
name it, right? And now they're, loosening the shirt strings again, or a bit.
Yeah.
Whereas they are forced by government to allow the players to profit off their name, image, and likeness. I don't know how many of you guys are into listening to this, but I'm pretty heavy into college football, and this is like the number one topic right now because California, as a government, passed a law saying California schools can allow players to profit off their name, image, and likeness. And the NCAA was just like, oh, well, we'll just ban you guys from competition. Like, they literally have no fucks.
Yeah.
They're like, we want the money all for ourselves. And so now other states have said, oh, we're doing this too, and now it's backed them into a corner,
Right.
making them
So
force
it's
them
still
into allowing
only off their name, like whatever.
image and likeness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So-
you can sign some pictures and sell
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Or you can maybe advertise for a local company, like, hey, come down to Joe Blow's car dealership or
Yeah.
mattress center and stuff like that. I mean, you look at Nick Saban; he makes what, $8 million a year, head coach
Do
for
you know
Alabama.
That could be scary. That can
I know.
really open up,
That's-
because then you could, just like you said, that local sponsorship
Yeah.
or stuff like that can really
I know,
start to
it's
sway people. Where there's the boosters that can,
I know how are
which
they
is
gonna
already
police it
happening, but now it can be
officially.
totally official. And
Yeah.
we're going to pay you $1 million to talk for
Yeah,
Capital Ford Lincoln and come play at
yeah,
the U of R.
Hey, maybe that's.
But
maybe,
that kind of money probably isn't that unrealistic.
no, and I know those boosters have tons of money, and obviously, I mean, look at what happened today. I mean, we're getting down a long rabbit hole here, but Willie Taggart, Florida State coach, just got fired. Okay, yeah, it's tough to see a guy get fired. Well, yeah, but he's got a contract, and he gets a $17 million buyout.
Yeah.
So they're paying him $17 million to go away. That's how much money these boosters have, especially in the South. You look at the Texas and Florida, stuff like that. They got money just to make these guys go away because they're not doing very well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's some changes coming, and yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I'd like to know the W or the CHL rules too, right? Because you don't see Pats ever do anything. All you really see is promos for CKRM, like you're listening to 620.
Yeah, I mean,
You
they
never
had like
see
sub of the month. Remember when they had sub of the month
Yeah.
kind of thing, and
Pizza
yeah,
them.
the Tap Lancasters.
But I've always wondered, like bobbleheads.
Yeah, they
That's
never do
always
current
passed.
players, right?
It's always passed or the coach.
But I mean, another thing is they sell jerseys with the name on them,
Yeah.
whereas NCAA you can't. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't remember which guy it was, but he called out the NCAA on that because I can search a certain player's name and it'll come up with their jersey.
Yeah.
Sure, the jersey doesn't have the name on it, but it's their number.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Oh, you guys are just you guys are doing it too." And then so he basically, Jay Billis, that's who it was, and he basically said, "Well, you guys are doing it." So then the NCAA shut down their own shop website because he called them out. So I know it's yeah, interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah, see where that goes. Do you know, reading this article kind of got me thinking, wouldn't it be kind of neat if the USHL champion came to the Memorial Cup?
Oh, that would be interesting.
You know? So you could either... There's always been bitching and moaning about the host getting in. So what if the host didn't and you had USHL champion?
Interesting.
Wouldn't that be pretty kind of cool?
That's an interesting idea. I've
Or
never heard
somehow
that yet.
get 6, so then you have an even...
Yeah. Just North American Junior Hockey Championship.
Yeah. Maybe not. Is there... the USHL, I think, is the only...
Well, they do have the NHL, North American Hockey League.
Okay.
I think that's more like tier 2. Like they
yeah.
kind of classify it as the second tier.
Maybe the U.S. national team. Would that be unfair?
Well, yeah, they have their under 17 team and their under 18 team, which both I think they both compete in the USHL. Do they not? You had the map up there, but
I'd have to.
I mean,
Wouldn't that be kind of cool though?
that'd be interesting.
They really grow the brands.
But that's the thing with the Memorial Cup. It's all about Canada. Like, it's never going to be in an American city again. Like, I don't think so. Not ever, but not anytime soon.
We were talking about it with those guys from Ontario.
Yeah.
It's becoming either have to make it bigger and expand or make it smaller and because there's only so many places that can host
Right.
it, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, there's just it'll never happen,
No.
but it would be kind of cool.
Another thing, USHL. So, I just happened to be watching Real Sports Center. Can't remember what I was watching, but American Sports Center came on, and so they're doing all the highlights, blah blah, blah, and I'm doing whatever. And all of a sudden, there's this hockey play. I'm like, oh, hockey! It was the top 10 plays of the night, and I'm like, oh, hockey. Then I'm like, oh man, what is that? I'm like, that's like USHL, and then I'm like, man, that was a nice move. And then they show it a couple more times. I'm like, that guy looks familiar. 66, man. Not many players wear 66. And sure enough, Daniel Gushin making a nice move in overtime for a winner in a 4-3 game where he scored all 4 goals. Yeah. So just oh,
damn.
Look at that.
So we saw the talent, just couldn't
reel it in.
Finish the deal, yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad. Yeah, check our Twitter. It's a couple days ago now.
Yeah, I think it was Friday night. I think I was editing the clips, the Friday night clips.
Yeah, check for that goal.
Or just search the Muskegon Lumberjacks Twitter. They have it up there.
Yeah.
What could have been?
Anyway, going into next week now, I meant to this.
Yeah, I see that. It's this week.
Yeah. I did update it, but it just didn't update there. So it's supposed to have next week's game on there, which are... we have a home game at the bobblehead game against Swift Current. And then we are off to Winnipeg on the Saturday. I think Swift Current, that's a winnable
at home
must win.
Yeah, I think
game.
we gotta
that's a must win.
We gotta get a roll here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And not just roll, I mean get some wins on our belt, get some confidence going.
be serious here.
We're in the
won
basement.
2 games all year.
I know. 2-12.
We've
2-11-2.
We haven't won at home since opening night.
Yeah, this is turning into like last year, the big home losing streak, right?
This is feeling worse than last year, in my opinion. More disappointing.
Yeah,
because the team's playing good-ish.
we were
like,
playing
they're
better
playing
than
good.
last year to begin
Yeah.
the year.
Last year we were getting steamrolled and embarrassed and like just outplayed. This year we're not getting outplayed as bad, just not getting the results. So I feel that Friday's a must-win. And who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, Winnipeg. They've been
Winnipeg's
rolling.
streaky though.
Yeah, well,
They got
McNabb just had a
rolled by Lethbridge.
Lethbridge. I know. Yeah, I saw that.
So
And then they come back with a shutout against. I'm not even
Yeah.
too sure who it was, but
they might be one of
McNabb
those
had a
teams you
shutout.
don't know who's showing up.
yeah.
So I don't know.
But-
Let's go for 3 points
Okay.
this weekend. Okay.
Feeling confident.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
If we can get a win, I'll be
Yeah.
happy with a win.
Shit.
But-
I don't know. Here we are. It came up again this week. Was it worth? When the discussion was going on again. Is it worth it?
I know, and people are starting to lean
People
towards
are
the
feeling,
no to move to the other side of the fence, and
yeah.
yeah. And we're even talking tonight, like what can you get for some of these guys at the trade
Well,
deadline?
yeah. Looking at our picks this year, we have the first, and then I don't have it up here, but there's not this year's not flush. Last
Yeah.
year was better,
Okay.
so we'll start to see those guys come through. But I don't know, and I don't know who's our assets. You're not getting
I think you
first
can
for any of our
get
guys.
I think you can get something decent for Pratt. Like you're gonna get a 20 back, obviously.
So we were talking about Hyman's. It was a third.
It was a third. Okay, so
Yeah.
if we can't get a second for Pratt, then
You'd get a third.
I think you
At
can get
best.
a second. You think third at best?
I don't think you're getting a second for Pratt.
I think we can get a second. Paddock can work his magic.
I'd
I
love
mean,
to
if you
see
get
it.
a third
I'd love to.
for Hyman, because if anybody was watching those first games with Hyman, I'm sure he put up some points, but man, he struggled defensively. But he turned it around. Like I asked a couple times, the Dub Network guys, how's Hyman looked
Yeah.
in that
Yeah.
once he got to Seattle or Tri-City, I mean, and they said, man, he's been good. So I mean, good for him. I mean, so if we can get a third for Hyman the way he looked here, I think we can get a second for Pratt.
Okay.
Like
I hope so.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I mean, that being said, the hockey hasn't been unenjoyable. Like tonight was a fun day at the rink. It was not a bad game.
Yeah, kind of evenly matched teams,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was back and forth.
Yeah, it was good enough.
Yeah.
But let's hope for better this weekend. Let's get that win against Swift, and then see what we can do against Winnipeg.
Yeah, then there's only one game the week after. PA, it looks like, right?
Right.
So 2 this weekend and just 1 next weekend.
Yeah, November's not a bad schedule. It's nice. Get healthy,
light.
get kind of gel up here a little bit, and then into that long road trip, which can be pretty good or
Yeah, right after
pretty bad.
PA is Calgary, and then we're off.
Yeah. Have to maybe move that calendar.
I know. We moved the calendar, but then we got a new monitor right here so
Yeah.
we can see all the comments. And now we're looking
Yeah.
over the...
Yeah, we'll have to adjust it.
But...
Okay, well, let's wrap up for today. I think we rambled long enough. Thanks for everyone for listening. Again, we will try and do this more consistently for you Sunday evenings. I would say, and we'll put out some alerts a little bit earlier, leading up to it as we get a little more used to this. Again, we're live on the Twitter, the YouTube, and the Facebook. It's just funny saying it that way. And that is totally open to you guys to respond during the broadcast. We'll see and speak to it. Good?
Definitely. Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap it up for tonight. We will see you guys at the rink on Friday.
Have a good night.
Okay, good night.